rugs. So here you go.
Yeah. Atlanta loves green rugs.
No, that's why I did it. I was gonna do a flower. I was gonna do a flower wall like on the side, and I really think I might. Like I really think I'm gonna add.
I thought but it adds something to it. It just does. I love it. I did a good flower wall before for a shoot.
With some neon, throw in some neon, and then you're done. So I think I'm gonna do it. Wait till June, y'all. That's my birthday month. I'll celebrate with some flower walls and neon signs. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hey everyone, welcome to Entrepreneurish. I'm your host Ellie, and we are here on Live Hip Hop Daily each and every Thursday at 7 with the crew Creative Visions. Woo! And today we have a very special guest. It is Bree Kelly.
Yes.
She is a writer, she is a director, she's a producer, and it's Black History Month, so we are celebrating all Black writers, all Black creatives.
Period.
We are having a really good time. Thank you for showing up.
Yes.
I'm so excited
Thank
for you.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. This is our first podcast, y'all, so
it is.
Let's ease her into this. We're gonna ask nice questions. But I also want you to be honest. This show is called Entrepreneurs for a reason. We really want to help people who are in the low spots, and we don't really like to talk about them, but I don't know about you, but I learned my biggest lessons in those moments. So that's what we want to bring to the forefront. And I just want you to be yourself, so don't worry about this. This is a fun show.
I definitely agree. Like, I learned a lot about myself in my lowest times.
Really?
That's how I evolved. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're gonna get all into that. First things first, I want you guys to start following at entrepreneur.ish.podcast on Instagram, and if you haven't yet, go to Amazon, type in Boss the Annual Planner, and you will find the Boss the Annual Planner. So in 2024, I launched a planner, and this planner, it has everything that you guys need. It has a habit tracker, it has your top priorities for the day, it has everything that you need. If you were going to be an entrepreneur, you're trying to get your stuff together, you're feeling disorganized, this gets you all the way from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., which is really entrepreneur time. All these other planners only go to like 6, and I'm like, I have stuff to do after that. So I added some extra time. I added some extra like delegation places to put celebrations for yourself, really keep you motivated and being an entrepreneur. Because I don't know about you, it's difficult to stay motivated in some of these.
No, and a planner helps a lot.
Yeah.
This is so cute.
I'm actually gonna give you one. So don't worry about it.
This
is part of it. I want everybody to be boss this year. I want everybody to be organized.
Planner helps me with my whole life. Like, if I didn't have a planner, I don't know what I would do.
Okay, tell me about it. No, because when I'm trying to tell, some people don't even know like how to use it, things like that. So I want to talk about like how does a planner change your life?
Yeah, like being organized helps. The way I think, like my brain is on 20. I'm a Gemini mind. I know I may not believe.
I'm a Cancer. We're really close.
You know what I'm saying? So I think like a Gemini. Basically, I think like Kanye West. My brain is just on 100. So I need a planner to just compartmentalize my ideas and just so I can remember things. Because I know if I don't write it down, I'm going to forget.
Yeah.
I'm going to just forget.
You're like, girl, that party was on Saturday.
Yeah.
You should have I didn't write it down.
So I definitely need a planner, or like on the wall, right? Like sticky notes on the wall. So if I'm just like working and I happen to look at the wall, and I'm reminded, like, okay.
I did that, but my mom said my room looks like a schizophrenic, so I was like, oh shit, maybe should pull back on post-it notes. But it was really like everywhere, like my whole wall. It'd be whatever. I don't know about you, but I get random thoughts, like just random downloads.
Yeah.
And so then it might not make sense now, but if I put it on the wall,
the future,
then I'm like, oh, you had a whole thought, but it took you 3 months.
Facts. Or even like my notes on my phone. That's my best friend.
Okay.
Like I'm always writing something in my notes.
Have you tried the new journal app?
No, I haven't.
On Apple?
Mm-mm.
It lets you do voice recording. It lets you type. It lets you add pictures. I thought that was a really cool. It's like Notes 2.0.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna try that. For sure. Yeah, I need that. The way I think, like, I have to be organized. It just helps me overall, and it helps me execute what I have to do. So that's cool that you have like the delegations and stuff, because then also telling people, assigning them things to do, like being a boss, you have to assign folks like, hey, I need you to do this and so you don't feel overwhelmed as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think for me, I put that in there because I would not delegate. I would say, oh, I need to do this marketing campaign, and I would like push myself to do my own marketing campaign instead of being like, you actually have a team for that. Why you do this?
Right.
Like, and then they're like, hey, you know, you could have asked us. We would have helped you. And then I'm like, okay, all right, let's delegate. So that's why I put it in there. It's for all of us independent ladies who are like, I could do it all by myself. You can't. You need to delegate. No. And you should.
You need a team. I think that's the hardest thing for people to do is to delegate, because they feel like the other person doesn't want to do it, or they don't want that pressure, or that just telling someone what to do. But for me, I'm very bossy. Like, I'm a Leo, so it's not super hard for me to delegate.
Okay. So you got over it real fast. You were like, okay, look, I have a team now. Let's go.
Yeah, I love having a team. I love telling people what to do. But now it's just the way you say it, and understanding that people aren't perfect. They're gonna get to it in their time. Like, just be direct, but don't ever put too much pressure or standards on people.
I got you.
At the same time.
I got you. What's your nice way to tell everybody to F off? Because I have as a boss, sometimes you just need freaking space, and it's hard to say it nicely.
Telling people, man, as well. I will say, like, I'm more so direct, but I try not to be insensitive. So I'll usually wait till I'm not emotional or anything like that, because I go off. Like, I'm the type, when I'm upset, I'm gonna let you know every single thing that's wrong with me. So I'll just say the no worries quote, like, no worries. We that's
what everybody should be like. Ooh, there's lots of worries.
There's a lot of worries. Not all the time, but for a lot of time, if I say no worries, it's a lot of worries. That's basically what I say. I say no worries, but I'm upset.
Okay.
But then I come back later and I try, because I used to be like fire. Like, I'll just tell you what's up. But I've learned to control it a little bit, be more professional, even if you're upset, because you never know when you meet someone or you see them around, or you never know what people are going through. That's another thing.
That's really what I learned. It's like a lot of times people aren't doing this on purpose.
Yeah, a lot of times.
The reason why they were late wasn't on purpose. There was something behind it. The reason why that they weren't able to produce something for you, it was something behind it. Like, if they signed up for something, especially me, I'm a good judge of character on whether or not somebody actually wants to be a part of what I have going on.
Right.
So if I see that they actually really are tuned into it, but something's off, then I just go, okay, it's time to have a conversation with it.
Exactly.
Let's see what's up. And then before I start, and then I go, okay. Because I went off before. One time I just went off without asking, and then I found out that there was a whole story behind it. I had a whole episode on it to apologize. I was like, I'm so sorry, bossy. Look at me. We're actually still friends.
No facts.
But no, it was that, and then it was weird because now I have to backpedal on like all this harshness that I said.
Yeah, you
to a
feel
person.
pretty bad.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like, I hope you still see me the same.
I hope you can forgive me as well. Like, can you forgive me for being human and kind of just snapping? I'm just passionate about it. But a lot of times people do understand. Like, you have to just understand from both parties, from both angles. Like, understand people go through things, and understand, like, hey, I'm connected to this vision or to my project, so of course I'm gonna be a little emotional about it. I'm
sensitive about my shit.
Yeah, I'm Erykah Badu would say, like, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit, for real.
That's really it. It's really it. It's like, it's really no shade, but it's mine, so like, hold on.
Exactly.
Let's get this together.
Exactly.
Okay, so before we get any further, I want you to turn to your camera and really introduce yourself to everybody. This one right here. That's you.
Okay, yes. So, what's up, y'all? Peace and blessings. I'm Bree Kelly, writer and director from California. And I've been working a long time. I have one film out with the old, on Tubi, Amazon Prime, all of that. So, we get into it, and we just talking about being an entrepreneur.
Yes. Okay, I love this. Okay. One, I don't think people know how hard it is to get on Tubi. People be making fun of Tubi movies, but I'm like,
I was making fun of, like, I was steady making fun of Tubi movies until it got picked up. I was like, oh, okay, ain't that bad.
Right. You're like, look, pick me up. I don't care.
I was like, okay. Yeah, it is pretty difficult. It took 2 years for my film to get picked up. I shot it in 2020, and it was like 2022 it got picked up, and it just happened like randomly. I submitted it to Film Hub, which is like a film distribution.
Okay, tell
website.
them about it. Tell it.
Film Hub, it's a great platform. All independent filmmakers should utilize it, because the thing with when you use the middleman, it's like 20% they take off. So you can keep that and get that 80-20 split instead of that like 60, 40 or whatever split. So I used Film Hub, and it worked out because it got picked up on 12 streaming platforms.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was Tubi, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, and like other like Afroland and So I just submitted it on my own. It took some time because you got to get the captions and a whole bunch of things. But like I think it was about 5 months later, it just ran, because they don't tell you it gets picked up. It was just on Tubi, and somebody happened to record it and tag me and was like, "Yeah, catch my movie." One of the actors posted it, and I was like, I thought that someone stole my film. Like, I was like, did they steal my film? Like, I was so confused because they never told me. Yeah. But then I was like, oh, it got picked up, so that was real.
You didn't get a letter, no email,
nothing.
like,
email.
What?
No, they didn't say nothing.
Shame on you, Tubi. She wanted to have a freaking party or something.
Exactly. Because they're the quickest. Tubi's the quickest one to network to pick up the film. And they're like the best because you get paid based off of your ads. So depending on how many people watch it, you just get the most money from it with Tubi. But then Amazon takes the longest, but it's Amazon and Apple TV and all of that.
That's huge. That's huge. You said 12 streaming platforms. So, okay, did you not get an email for any of those 12? Or did you just start going, well, shit, if I'm on Tubi, I must be on something else?
Right. Now, I went on the Film Hub website, and then I got to see, like, all the networks that it got picked up on.
Wow, I'm so surprised about this no email thing.
Yeah,
okay, so if you guys have submitted your film, it might already be out. So
facts. It takes you never know. You just check on it because you never know. But it was great. I was in DC at the time. It was my best. Actually, it was around this time. It was last year around this time because it was in February. It's my best friend's birthday. Her birthday is on 11th. And and then I looked on and I was like, oh snap, okay. So that felt really good because it took a lot of hard work for that. I shot the film during the pandemic.
So, I was gonna ask you that, and I was gonna ask you how did it feel. So first, let's talk about how did it feel when it was done, and then we'll talk about all the stuff that had to happen in order for you to have this feeling.
Yeah, it felt really good when it was completed, because like I said, it just took so long to shoot it. During the pandemic was hard.
How'd you find your actors? Like,
so I did
and get them together, and all of that.
Yeah, it wasn't easy because people were obviously, naturally scared to shoot with COVID and all of that.
A lot of people.
So it was like, basically I got the hungry folks, which I like, because I got the people that was like, no matter what, like I still want to get out there. So, because I respected people, like I had a DP that couldn't do it because he just said he had kids and stuff, and I understand. So I got the people that was really hungry and just wanted to do something during this time. So for casting, we did virtual auditions, which I did the same thing for my film that I'm doing now, virtual, because that's just easier. I was like, that's just so easy. They just submit the audition tape. But I did Facebook. I used a lot, all casting. I used just posting on my social media.
When you say Facebook, do you have your own group? Did you utilize other groups? Both.
Yeah, I'm in a lot of like Facebook groups as far as film and television and all of that. So I did this internship and I was just already in a whole bunch of Facebook groups. So I just utilized that and I would just make those postings. And people, they were really upset. A lot of people were mad that I was shooting during the pandemic. So people would be like, oh, you're risking people's lives, and they would just go in on me, and I'm like, look, the governor has the whole state open. So, I'm not, it's not me. It's like, look,
Atlanta's open, so
you know what I'm saying? So they was mad. Like if I would have listened to them, I would have stopped because a lot of people was like, you shouldn't do it. Like, but I had to do it because I had quit my job November 2019, right before the pandemic.
Wow.
Came here, and I was like, well, I already quit my job, so I gotta do something.
Y'all can stop it.
Yeah, I can't. I literally can't. I'm like, no, I have nothing else to do. So like, I had to just do it.
So did you have to reshoot anything? How did actually, when you got people together, how did it actually work? Did you guys wear masks?
Yeah, we did. Like when I first, because at first I was those people that didn't take it seriously, COVID. But then when I was, working with other people, it was more than just me. It was other people, so I took it seriously. I was like, whether I believe it or not, I have other people's lives, in my hands.
Yeah.
So yes, we had a mask and all of that. We always checked the temperature and all of that. We had the COVID testing and all of that stuff. So we made sure to do that. We shot for 8 days. The film is an hour long, so it was I think it was about 8 days. I can't remember, between 7 to 8 days. And yeah, so we basically split it up. So we shot for 3 days.
Okay.
And I funded those 3 days on my own. And then I fundraised. I used Indiegogo, did some crowdfunding, and then I shot for the rest of the days.
Wow. So did you use the footage from the first 3 days that you funded to put it on Indiegogo and the other places to crowdfund?
Yeah.
Did you have to have something to?
No, actually I didn't. I just was posting a lot.
Posting. Okay.
I was doing a lot.
I want to talk about this because a lot of times when we think we have a project, we overthink about how to get the word out or how to get funding. How did you think through that when you were like, look, I need the money? How'd you end up being like, okay, I'm going to this website?
Yeah, so I mean, cause that is the best way, having the teaser, cause that's for Fresh Prince, the Bel Air when they brought that back. So he did that. All he did was a 2-minute video teaser, and that's how he got
everybody
funding
excited.
for it.
Exactly.
So
I've seen quite a few black
Mm-hmm.
movies doing that, where they're like, look, we are trying to finish this movie, and we'll show you a trailer for it, and then I'm like, well, here's my $100.
Exactly. So that's how a lot of people do it. But for me, I just utilized Indiegogo. I just sent it out to family, friends. For me, it's about just throwing it in people's face, because it's just like with music,
Talk to the people. Sorry.
it's just about music. A lot of people, it's not about the quality of the music; it's about the hype around it. So it's the same thing when it comes to crowdfunding. It's not about, obviously you want your content to be good, but if you just throw it in people's face and you market it a certain way, then people are more inclined. And then they see how passionate you are. They're like, dang, all right, man, here's money.
You keep talking about this.
That's how I was able to raise the funding for it and all of that. And, I learned a lot of things. It was a lot of mistakes, a lot of
one mistake, and tell me the lesson that you learned from it.
The money thing, because I did it backwards. I casted people without the funding. Funding first before you can still cast, because I kind of still casted, but I basically just did everything before the funding. And I was just hoping it's gonna work out, but funding is really important. You just want to make sure that you have an idea of how you're going to get that funding, whether it's partnership, crowdfunding, grants.
This is the question. How much for an hour film? How much did you need to raise?
It was about 12,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
the lower, between 10 to 12 is how much you're going to be spending for a high quality film, and that film wasn't even the highest quality it could be.
I feel you, because I feel like at some point you're like, look, this is what we could do in our budget. I just want to get something out. We'll try again. We'll have something another time.
Yeah.
What made you go, okay, look, I'm done. You're done editing, you're done all of this. I'm ready to start submitting this. When did you feel like it was done? Because I know as a creative, it's really hard to be like, okay, I'm actually done with this project. It will always feel because I know making this book, I was like, is it done? Add another section. Nope. Yes. I'm gonna add another section, and then it was like back and forth until my deadlines were coming up, and I was like, you know what? It's probably fine.
Yeah, you gotta just
it's
do
probably
it.
Fine.
It's hard. I get it because it's always something you can fix.
Yeah.
My mentor said if it's about like 70%. Like that you're happy with it, then it's good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That.
He was like, because it's always gonna seem like you have to fix something. And like with my film, it's not perfect. Like when I watch my old film, like I cringe some parts. I'm like, ooh, like oh my god. But it was the best I can do, and then I have to remind myself this is my first film. So, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, they don't even get their stuff out their first film.
Let alone them 12 platforms.
Exactly.
Like, it's different.
So it's just good to get it out there. What I tell people is like, you don't have any measurement of success if you don't do it. You don't even know how successful you can be if you don't just do it. So you have to just just do it. You're gonna fail naturally, but then you'll know like, okay, I know how like I can be better than that because I can measure the amount of success that I have.
Got you. I like that. Okay. We're gonna take it back to your early days. Bree is a journaler, and I journal, and I talk about this all the time. Like I think my very first episode when I came back to doing my podcast was about how journaling saved my life. Literally, I was in a terrible situation, and I wrote down how I actually wanted to live. It was literally completely opposite of what I was actually living. But every day I would write down like, okay, this changed and I'm so happy about it. And then because that changed, I was able to do this, and I was super happy about that too. And then I just would keep doing that. And eventually, all of a sudden, my life changed. I got that first sentence, and I look at that and I go, wow, all of these things that I said would happen after that first change started happening. Yeah. And it was all because I wrote it down. So I know for me, had I had not written down my future, I don't think I'd be sitting here.
Thanks.
I really feel like I would definitely still be thinking about it. I think something happened when I put it to paper. Yeah. To read my thoughts when it was like, well, shit, why are you that sad? Like, let's change this. Like, you know, like when you actually read yourself on a piece of paper, it's like,
that's
if this was a friend of mine, I'd be concerned. Yeah, exactly. So, how's journaling for you? What's that experience like? Because your mom got you a pink diary.
Yeah, pink.
And it's where this all started. Yep.
Okay,
pink.
No, it all started from a pink diary my mom gave me because I was a very emotional child. I used to cry all the time. I was so much like, if you pinch me, I'm crying. Like I used to just cry. So I couldn't control my emotions like that when I was young. So like, she just gave me a journal, and I would just write everything that was wrong with me, and it helped me be creative, expressive, and all of that. When I wrote, I could it's like you can like see your thoughts, and you can revisit that and figure out what's going on. Even when I journal now, because I still journal now daily, at least as much as I can, and you can kind of figure out the emotion that you're feeling that day. Like a lot of people, they go through anxiety, and they don't know why, but it's always a reasoning why. It could be the smallest thing, like you forgot something or something. Like something's wrong with your mom, or something's triggering, and if you don't write it down and figure out and revisit that, then you're always gonna just have that anxiety feeling. But with the journal, that helped me out a lot because it kind of started a whole, like, I guess, butterfly effect as far as like me writing. So with the journaling, I ended up writing like these plays when I was younger. So I would watch like Men in Black, and I would be like, oh, I want to put together a play.
Okay, a Men in Black play?
Yeah, like a Men in Black play.
But like you're the star or something?
Yeah, like I would write, I don't know how I went. Like supposedly it wasn't good. As a kid, I probably was fired, but like I know my parents, they were looking like, what's going on? You know, we kids doing stuff. We had we ripped out these tickets. So we had like admission tickets and
Oh,
stuff. We cut them up and all of that, and we gave them out to my family members. And
This is you and a sibling, or?
yeah, me and my sibling and my cousin would do it.
Okay.
So we all did that. And that's when I was creative, like naturally. And then I just continued to write from there. And I would do like poetry and stuff in my high school. And so like, I was always emotional. So that helps me become a really good writer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. I was gonna say, when did you know that this was your thing? Like, when did you know when you were like, oh no, I'm a writer. This is it.
Cause I always knew I was gonna be a writer.
Okay.
Like I knew for a while since like high school, but I thought I was gonna write books. So I thought I was gonna be a novelist, just write books, and because I love to read, I used to read vividly, like all the time. I would just read.
Like your escape.
Yeah, I love reading because you can just imagine just the stories, you can conceptualize and all of that. That helps you kind of just look at something and think of like the deeper meaning of it when you read. I
like the fact what's different from reading the movies is like you can hear the thoughts of the person on the screen. So that's the difference. Like unless there's a narrator telling you what that character is thinking, you never really know. You just can kind of tell by like an eye squint or something like that. But in a book, you have the detailed thought process of that person or of the person looking at the situation or whatever. And then I just feel a lot more implanted into it.
Exactly. You can come up with your own imagination, kind of. Like, although it's describing that, you don't know if that person's black or white. You don't know what they are. You can kind of.
I was gonna say that. It's like how everybody. Some people say that Hermione is like black in the books, but they were like it was different. I have not watched a movie that was better than a book. Have you?
Only not better, but on the same like caliber. Like if Bell Street could top.
Really?
James Baldwin. That's one of my favorite books. James Baldwin is one of my favorite.
I will read
writers.
the book and then watch that.
But the reason why Barry Jenkins, he's the one that wrote it, directed. He's good at adaptations. Moonlight was originally a play.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So Barry Jenkins is really good with that. The only thing. So the reason why he was able to do it is because If Bell Street Could Talk is a small book. So you're able to do it with that. I'm sure I had never read Harry Potter series.
No,
so they said it's kind of good, but
so mine was like Hunger Games. I read Hunger Games, and then I saw the movie, and I was like, But the newest Hunger Games was actually the best Hunger Games, if I have to say, because they I guess they didn't have to go off of anything. They got to think it themselves. It was way better. So I think like that. When I was younger, I would read a lot of like. Romance novels. I'm a Cancer, so anything.
My mom used to stay. She was obsessed with romance.
That was my thing. Like, do y'all remember Fabio? Like, I might be telling my age with that, but like the books with this like tall white man with his long hair with the maiden like tripped over. Those are the books I remember.
Did you read the author? I think her name's Danielle Steele. Okay, she's just like she does all romance. My mom read a lot of her books.
Oh, I read the Zane books when I was younger too. That was
or
a
what
big
is
thing.
what are the popular books? It was like the sex novels. I forgot what it was. They
a
made a movie.
The 50 Shades of Grey.
50 Shades. I was about to say 50
I was
Shades.
like, it was either that or Twilight. 'Cause both of those had people in a chokehold during that time.
Shades. I did read the 50 Shades.
I read the first book, and then I was like, I'm not sure if I could keep reading.
They was intense. I was like, dang.
I was like, oh.
Not
this isn't my lifestyle, but I love it for you, girl.
Not for real. Those are good. But books, they just make you just tap into another world. That's why I love like I just love reading. And that kind of helped me become an excellent writer because I read so much and I tapped in those emotions.
I love how you describe yourself as excellent. Like, I think a lot of people are too humble with what they have going on. So I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that.
No, I'm not. I think we should all flex. Like one thing I represent, I got my tattoo. It says God body, and I just feel like we should all just like tap into our God selves. You know, that's what I feel like. I always say like I'm the Kanye of film.
I like that.
Or the Kendrick Lamar of film, because Kendrick is one of the greatest rappers to me.
Let me tell you, performance-wise, I have not seen anybody take over a stage the way Kendrick can. He brings you into an entire new world. and then the next person gets on stage and you're like, what? Like,
nah, because he's so
bored as
serious.
hell.
He's a performer. He's like Janet, how Janet Jackson used to be. Like if you watch him, he's doing like counts. He's counting. Like, hey, y'all, like, you know, like really performing.
Love
so
that.
it's crazy.
So, what genre would you put your new film in? Because we need to talk about that
Oh, yeah.
as well. So her new film is called Sunflower.
Yes.
And it's got this like futuristic vibe, which is what I'm really excited to hear about because we're all sci-fi kids here. We all love stuff like that. So, okay, tell us about this. 'Cause a guy goes to do a pitch and then all of a sudden he's in a future world. Like, what happens?
It's a whole bunch. So my short film is a sci-fi thriller. So basically, it's about a gentleman who has a presentation for a promotion. He ends up getting the promotion, and as he is stumbling drunk because he's celebrating his promotion, he ends up waking up 5 years in the future, where it's more so of a dictatorship, a dystopian type life.
In 5 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been shocking to me. I would have been like, damn, I was gonna say
Yeah, he was 5 years, yes. It's basically a reality where if you weren't a part of the 1%, you were captured. And him and the main character, Robin Love, they're basically fighting for freedom. So,
I like that.
So, yeah.
And it specifically said something about him being apathetic towards the condition of Black experiences. I want to talk about that, especially since it's Black History Month. That seems like very important aspect of the film. So, what do you mean by apathetic? Because I think I know in this age, it's a lot of people are like, that happened to the other people, didn't happen to me. I live in a different world. Is that what you're talking about? Okay.
Exactly, yeah, because, well, really I was stemming from, these last few years, a lot of our great rappers have been murdered. Nipsey Hussle, Takeoff, PNB,
yes.
You know what I'm saying?
That hurt my heart.
It was so sad, and people,
Dolph too.
Yo,
like, I was like,
Dolph,
what happened?
Yes.
And there's all these people who were like big in their community and
Exactly.
supporting it and trying to do something with it.
So, and what just blew me was when we found the news that they were murdered. Everybody comes up with a reasoning on why, like, oh, Nipsey, you should have never been in your neighborhood. PNB, you should have never had those change in Waffle House when he's just trying to eat with his family.
Yeah.
So, and then, I was just shocked about how, as Black people, we just were desensitized with our own.
Ooh.
Yeah, we just didn't care. We're just like, oh well, but the reality is, if it was your brother, you would be upset. It don't matter what. It don't matter if he was walking around with a gun in his hand. You would be upset because that's your brother, and no one deserves to die. No matter how foolish they are, they don't deserve to die.
Especially over chains and a Waffle House.
Exactly.
I'm really chilling.
Exactly.
Really chilling.
Like Fat Joe said, he's like, back in the day, we would rob you, but we wasn't just murdering people.
Yeah.
And I just feel like we're not valuing the Black human life. That's what the film is about, like appreciating the Black human life. Because we don't care. We just kind of scroll on our phones. We're just like, oh, someone died? Okay, bet. And then we'll just scroll. And when we have these living legends on us, we just kind of just make excuses and reasonings on why he died, but he should have never died. It don't matter what he was doing. And really, with Takeoff, that was just a prime example of how you can be doing nothing and you're gonna die. Like, there was no reasoning. There was literally no reasoning.
He was really with his people.
He was really with his
people.
people. There was no reasoning.
Part.
So that was really, and I added that in the film. I have like a local rapper who they get news that he died in the beginning of the film, because I wanted to make it relevant to what's going on currently. So that's what I mean when I say the main character, Isaiah Black, is apathetic, because for him, he's the type of person, although he actually is from the hood, he's from the South Side Chicago, the character. But because he's from the hood, he had to mask who he was so he can make it. Which a lot of people have to do. They know where they're from, but they don't like that part that part of them, so they have to mask it.
I feel like a lot of people feel like that was the part that was holding them back. So they just cut it off.
Yeah.
They just cut it off.
They blame themselves
yeah, exactly.
for that. And it's not you. It's like white supremacy. At the end of the day, it was never us. So it's just kind of like, or it's just a social construct. It's just all of that.
Yeah.
So that's the reasoning. It's not us. But for him, that's what he had to do so he can make it. So the main character went to an Ivy League. He works at a Fortune 500 company.
Oh, he's a finance bro.
Exactly.
That's a lot of black finance bros.
You know what I'm
like,
saying?
I don't think you remember that you are.
Exactly.
You don't
remember who you are. You still, you know. So for him, he's apathetic. Like, he's the type, okay, you tell him that, he's like, well, what was he doing? Why was he there? What happened? And even when you said, like, with Trayvon Martin and all of that, people always had a reason. Well, why was he this?
Oh my
and why?
God.
Well, what
Let me
happened?
tell you, Trayvon Martin was big for me because
Yeah, it was huge.
I was working at an all-white company. There was two
wow.
black girls, and
Yeah.
I started crying when I heard the news.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
white lady came in the bathroom, and she was like, "What's wrong?" And I told her what happened, and she was like, "Oh." And that was the day
Yeah.
when I was like,
That's when
"What?"
the day was like, yeah.
I was like, "What?"
They don't care. Yeah.
That was the day when I was like, "Okay, so y'all
Yeah.
don't give a fuck at all." So
About-
that day,
yeah.
I walked out of that job.
Oh,
I
really?
didn't say
Wow.
anything to them. And then when I came back and
Yeah.
HR sat me down, I told them like, "Hey, this seemed like a mourning holiday for me." And they were trying to like say it. I was like, "This sounds really racist. You guys do not
Yeah.
want me to mourn something that happened in my community."
Exactly.
And then that was the first time that I ever stood up for my blackness.
Period.
And
Yes,
I felt
that's
like
what's
that
up.
was like a big moment for me because I grew up in a very integrated place, so
Yeah.
being black wasn't and never crossing my mind,
Yeah.
and it really never crossed my mind until that day, and I'm sitting
That
there
day
and
you
I
realize.
realized,
Yeah, you're
y'all
like,
really don't give a
dang.
fuck about me. Like I'm
Yeah.
sitting here looking at you as a person, but it's
You're
not vice versa.
You don't
look at
care.
me as
You
a
don't
person.
value my life, because if it were to happen to your own, it will be a problem. It will be a situation. You know, so that's what I wanted to emphasize. Is like, we're so desensitized as a culture, and I wanted to use somebody like the typical black male and use him as the main character to tell that story.
I like that. I love that. Okay. The next thing I wanted to talk about is your bossies. I know you had a mentor that went to Spike Lee. I want you to talk about Monty Ross. And I want to talk about like a bossy here is a boss bestie. I want to talk about like how were they that to you, where they were like also an entrepreneur and they kind of helped you be a better boss. That's what that boss besties do.
Yes, like I wouldn't be where I'm at without my bossies, my mentors.
What's up, y'all?
No, for real, like, because I went to Hampton University,
Okay.
but it wasn't a film school. I really didn't learn how to be a writer, director from college. Naturally, like a lot of folks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Most of the time, we just go there to be away
You
from
just
our
go there
parents.
to network and to meet people. But I met the producer for Spike Lee. So he went to school with Monty Ross. He went to school with Spike Lee.
Okay.
He produced She's Gotta Have It, Malcolm X, all of the earlier Spike Lee films.
School Days is my favorite.
School
Spike
Days,
Lee.
all of that.
Oh my
He's
God.
an incredible producer. He's able to just shoot a whole film in concise schedule and all of that. And he's just so eccentric. Like, I really love what he taught me. In the first project I did, we did a jazz film.
Ooh.
And he taught me, and then he put me on to jazz legends like Miles Davis, John Coltrane, all of those greats. And basically he just taught me how to properly produce something, and that's really just organizing something and putting it all together.
Biggest thing you learned from him. Tell the peoples. What's the biggest thing that you learned about being a producer from him?
The biggest thing I learned was paying attention to details and to taking things seriously and having and doing your research before you actually start a project. So for me, when we did we did a film, we did a jazz short film, and so that's when I had to really learn about jazz legends. And at that time I was young and I was like, oh my God, why are we doing this?
Yeah, but
you know, I was just annoyed.
It's not even my music.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel you.
And it wasn't until like years later where I was like, man, I really appreciated what he put on me, like what he taught me. But without him, I would have never met my other mentor, who his name was Clyde Santana, and he taught me how to write. So Monty Ross told me how to produce, and Clyde Santana taught me how to write. And I wrote my first film. It's kind of like a Love Jones type film. I don't have it. I haven't produced it or anything. Love Jones is my favorite film.
Oh, okay,
it's like
okay.
One of my favorite
we all
films.
have our favorites.
Man. And so he taught me how to write. He taught me just like the whole concept of like a buddy love concept. Like how when we watch things like When Harry Met Sally
and like
Love Jones, yeah, and all of those like romantic films. The reason why we fall in love with the characters is because we fall in love with their story as far as like how they fell in love. We fall in love with them as they fall in love.
Oh.
So you know, a lot of films don't do as well because the first scene they have is sex. But you want to know like how this happened. It's like if you have sex with someone too quick, you over it. So you gotta. It's the same with film. You
that.
Yeah, you want to let it, you know, progress and the tension and all. Like Friends, I know a lot of black people don't watch Friends, but Friends was a good show because of Rachel Ross dynamic. They never were together.
It was
almost about to be together.
Yeah,
and then people was just like, dang, like, all right, are they gonna get together? So he taught me that concept. He gave me a whole bunch of films to watch and to write, and gave me books and things like that. And I really studied it, and that's how I ended up being like a good writer.
Okay, so I've heard a lot of like research and study for you.
Yeah.
These are normally like the boring parts about being an entrepreneur. That's the parts that people don't talk about. They're like, yeah, I just made a movie, but we don't talk about like how long it took. So when you do researching, how long is that process for you before you get to move on? And then I kind of want to like walk through the phases with you.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I think, like you said, you casted before financing. So let's do that.
Yeah, you gotta that's important. And it does, a lot of people don't have patience for that. But for me, it took me 3 years to write the script. It's called Life Interrupted, the Love Jones romantic film. So that's a long time. A lot of people would have been like I'm good. It's just straight. And that's why we see movies now that we watch and we're like, that don't make no sense.
I don't like that much.
Yeah.
Most of the movies, I'm like, I'm bored. And then I watch an 80s movie and it's like 3 hours long and I'm never bored during that whole thing.
They understood what you had. They understood the assignment.
I miss storytelling.
The storytelling. So we don't care about that like as much now. We're just kind of like, we're going to get it out there.
Or the twist won't be like that juicy.
Yeah.
It's like something you already seen coming. I like a twist, like a real, oh fuck, I never thought that was ever going to happen.
Something different, like unexpected. You know, you want people to have like an emotional reaction to it. You don't want people to be like, oh, okay, yeah, that was typical.
Do you remember when Inception came out and everyone was talking about the end? I was like, if I do really anything, or I want people to talk about it. So whatever I do has to resonate. Yeah. It's got to make people think. It's got to make people go, what does she mean by that?
That's what I like to do. Yeah, I love it. Inception is like a really good film. It's so good.
It's up there.
It's so good. But the same, I like to do that with my films. I like to have an ending that people don't expect. I even sometimes want you to get mad at the ending.
Okay.
For you to be like, why did this happen? Because at least it was in reaction to something. Like even with my romantic comedy Out with the Old, she ends up back with her boyfriend. And people was mad. They was like, oh, he wasn't shit. Like she should have been with the best
called
friend.
Out with the Old.
You know what I'm saying? Because of the way he was acting. But I'm like, reality, we go back to our even if they not shit, we go back to them. We just do because we're familiar, we're comfortable, and although they're not perfect, they're perfect for us. So we deal with that. So that's how I did it, because that's reality. So I like to do things a little different. It's very important to have an ending that's like engaging, that intrigues people and makes them think. And that's even with Sunflower. Like I want to create a film that makes you think and have dialogue, so you can actually talk about it. And when I love Jordan Peele, because you don't even know
Jordan Peele.
what he's doing. Like you're confused. You're like, wait, what is he? I love that you have your own interpretation of what's going on.
I was talking to somebody the other day and how Us scared the shit out of me.
I know, I love Us. Yeah.
Us scared the shit out of me because I was like, every one of his movies, I'm like, this shit is real. This shit is happening.
That's what I'm saying.
People are really getting abducted. People are really selling people in the woods and taking over brains. And we really have doppelgangers
Not for real.
underground.
We have these tethered folks that.
And mine is gonna come in my sleep.
No, for real. It was so good. It was so good.
And I liked his commentary on Black
his
people and how we would live in a situation like that.
Man.
Especially even with even the story.
No,
like
no,
it was really like, nah, for real, I'm not participating in any of this shit. And that's very true. Like most of us are gonna run the other way from the alien. Like
exactly.
So
that's real. Now that's real.
I feel like for him though, my only critique of Nope was like I felt like he never should have showed the alien. I think he was really good with having a mysterious. We actually really don't know what the fuck this is ever. I think he should have never shown it. Like a real old 1930s movie where they don't really show you what they're running from.
Yeah, or like Bird Box.
Yeah, exactly.
That was crazy.
And it's crazy and you're mad about it, but then it sticks in your head. Like I felt like for him that was the last thing he needed to do was like just never show us. Because as soon as he showed it to me, I was like, no. I'm not as scared of this. I thought it would be it's like a balloon.
Like, I was like, what is this?
Okay, right, exactly. So now I'm not in the story anymore. So you should have just kept this very much like mysterious. But
yeah. No, I feel that.
Type of thing.
Yeah, that's why I like films like that make you think and talk. Because I just feel like we don't have that. Like we're getting them. Like Book of Clarence is a good film.
Okay, that was a good one.
That's a great, amazing film.
What's one that I've seen lately? I've been to movies a lot, and I've just been very, very bored.
They've been so terrible. The movie's been bad.
Very, very bored. That
so
new Leonardo movie with the Native Americans, it was very historically accurate, but there was like whole hours of the movie that could have been cut. Like it's a 3-hour long movie, and I was like, there's a whole hour I didn't even need. Like we could have done a montage of this real quick and moved on. I'm thinking of a good one. Okay, it's Black History Month. Favorite Black movie?
Yes.
Let's do that one.
Yeah,
let's do that one. Favorite Black.
This is Black History Month. I'm super excited. Y'all know we black.
And we got 29 days. We got an extra little day this year.
You know what I'm saying? So my favorite Black film, I would just say Love Jones.
Okay.
That was just, it was poetic. It was real. Their dynamic, their relationship, Nia Long and Lorenz Tate. As far as like being with someone but not knowing if it's real, and she kind of played with him. She was like, "Look,
that's what happens when you don't know it's real. You start playing with them because
you're protecting yourself." But it was so poetic. The way it was shot, cinematically, it was beautiful. Just everything. I love Jones. I love what Theodore Which did. Like he did an amazing job with that film. So I would say that Brown Sugar is another amazing one. When did you fall in love with hip hop?
Yeah,
tied in love and hip hop. I love when people do that. So that's another one of my favorites. And those are like my two favorites.
Okay.
What about you?
Okay, mine. I didn't watch Black films until I was in college. I'm sorry, everybody. But I took a film class, and then it made me.
Friday and stuff.
No, I didn't watch it till I was 20.
I
didn't watch any of these. I didn't watch Baby Boy. I didn't watch none of that. Like I just didn't watch it. I was an MTV kid, not a BET kid. I was definitely like a VH1 girl. Like I just never really. That's why I said Trayvon Martin was so like big to me.
Yeah.
I really just looked at pop culture because I thought it was everyone's culture, and then I realized, oh no, there's a Black culture that I have not been exposed to at all. So I would say the first Black movie that I fell in love with, I'd say would be New Jack City.
Oh yeah.
If I'm super honest, now I didn't think this super ghetto movie about selling drugs is gonna like be it for me. But the way it was told, and the actors, and
we had a lot of amazing Black films.
And it was,
yeah.
and it had a lot of moments. Like I was like, oh, these all these quotes people been saying my whole life. Like I'm hearing them, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, now I understand why y'all said that. And it was just, I think for me, I loved seeing a real black villain where he wasn't corny. Like if you look at a lot of white movies, they don't really put a black man as a villain. And I see why. Because we really don't want to be seen demonized by you. Yeah. But it was very nice to see like a real villain. I feel like about that and Training Day. Those are probably my two.
Training Day.
I know it's not really a black film, but like that's it.
Hey, Training Day is amazing. I mean, man, what you was like fearful, like you was like, oh my god. Like,
I literally twists and turns, and I was like, see, these are the movies where I'm like jaw dropping. And if I had to say another like a real black film, it would definitely be Jordan Peele's first movie.
Oh, Get Out.
Yeah, Get Out.
Yeah,
Get Out changed my life, and I think Get Out
really
changed a lot of people's life. But for film wise, the way he set things up. The way everything was a motif, the way everything was like foreshadowing, the way
he be thinking.
I mean, and he turned everything, even from the songs, that Run Rabbit song in the beginning was like the whole thing.
Yeah,
he makes an art film.
He paints a picture.
Exactly, and I love art films.
You gotta pay attention with his film.
That's I think some shows that I like, Swarm did very black
Swarm was
art.
Really good.
Oh my gosh.
Swarm was amazing.
And what's the other one? I think it's Them.
Oh yeah,
where the black people move into Compton, and they're the only black people in this.
Yes.
Oh my! You still talk about a thriller?
I mean,
the whole time I was like,
you know what I liked about Them was like every little thing was horrific. Like it'd be them picking up a cup and you're scared.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what. I love how they did that. I really like that. Because it makes you realize reality is just horror.
Exactly.
You know.
They hit on, and then they hit on some big points. Like they hit on, you're in corporate America and your boss is like outwardly racist, and you need that job. That man needed that job to stay in Compton, so he had to put up with the racism. It's a lot of things that they hit on that people don't talk about in films. That's why I love entertainment and I love media, because you get to expose your life. Yeah, exactly. The same way gangsta rap kind of did that in the 90s, like created this whole new view into Black America. It was. That's what I feel like we're doing now with all these films, all these podcasts. I want to ask you about podcasting since this is your first one.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of. I feel like there's like a war against Black love when it comes to podcasting.
Oh yeah,
it's
like
very
the
hard.
50 thing.
Yeah, it's very hard to find a podcast where
they always talk about that.
and no one's dogging each other.
They are dog. Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you, like, from a writer's perspective, and you're watching all these people just kind of put out content. What does that feel like to you? Does it feel like, wait, maybe they should have went back to the drawing board? Are you happy that people are coming up with things really fast like that?
Yeah, I do feel like now podcasting is like oversaturated. So it's anybody, can talk about, and a lot of people's, not everyone's opinion is valid. Like not everybody should have an opinion. You realize that on social media, you're like, you should have never spoke about
crazy comments.
See
some crazy comments.
Yeah. But I do feel like it's just dividing us even more when we talk about the 50-50 thing, because then it just puts standards and that we don't even have. Like, if somebody's relationship is like that, that's cool, but we shouldn't have to put that on them. Just dividing folks, it's just be
my
too much.
thing is, it's the people who are talking and super into this are like 14. If we're real, if we're super real, I mean, we have to be really, really honest. The people who are taking these podcasts super seriously are the 14-year-olds, which is the problem. Because now y'all are growing up really thinking any of this is life. Like, any of this is life. And a lot of times, these are very small moments for, like, a person over there. You know what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with you, but now it's like a whole thing. like, how in the fuck did we get in the 50-50 conversation? Like,
Yeah.
why are we all in this
Yeah.
conversation?
So why are we
like,
even talking
obviously,
about this?
that was somebody else's relationship. Why do we have
Yeah.
so much?
Exactly.
Why are we so invested?
Yeah,
in
we just
this?
need
And
more
everybody's
substance.
so invested in other
Yeah.
people's lives. I'm like, what's going on with yours? Like,
Exactly.
what's happening?
We talking about the wrong things.
Yeah.
We not talking about just like mental health or anything like that. Nothing with substance. We
Yeah.
just talking about
Everybody's
the
a
same
narcissist.
thing.
I'm like, damn.
Everybody's a narcissist. Everybody said we don't even know what that is. Gaslighting.
Yeah.
That I hate that. Like all of those phrases.
I'm glad we're aware to an
Yeah.
extent, but then I was like, fuck, we are now just making this a word that we just put on everybody.
Yeah.
I do like it because I feel like this new generation is like
Mhm.
very exposed to everything, but I also do feel like it might have come too fast for some
Mhm.
people. I feel like,
The podcast.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, why at 13 are you in a relationship podcast? Like, you 50-50
yeah,
is not
yeah.
like really something
Nah.
that you should talk about in school. Like, or
Yeah.
maybe it is. Maybe we do need to talk about it really early so that.
Nah, you don't.
I don't know, but some of this stuff I feel like
You
is
just need to
grown
be a
folks'
kid.
business.
You don't need to
And then I
date.
feel like grown folks'
Yeah.
business is now like all the children's business, and I just feel
Mhm.
bad for them. I keep watching my niece, and she's trying to like date in high school and like like 7th, 8th grade. You know, your first like date or whatever, and it's so much pressure on her. She's like, well, I don't want to be that type of girl. I don't want to be a pick me girl. Like, I want to be like, and I'm like.
Right. Huh?
You're gonna have to define that for me, and then we're gonna have to talk this out.
I wasn't even dating until I was like 8. I was so late. I was not even dating. I didn't even know what.
I had dates, but I was like sneaking around, and we definitely weren't talking about whether or not he was gonna pay for something or not. Like,
nah, I didn't even
we
know.
just didn't have this
We
conversation.
we didn't have no money. We was
I was like, the first date I went on was to a Kanye West concert, and his mama paid for them tickets.
Yeah, the
so
mom
you
paid
know.
for yeah. Now these kids, they got a lot of they care about too much stuff.
Yeah.
So they have anxiety. I didn't know what anxiety was till I was like 27.
Same.
I didn't
learn
know
about it
what
till
that
college.
was till
Yep.
I was. I didn't know what that was. I was like, oh, I have anxiety. I didn't know what that was, and now these kids are getting it when they're like 15. Like my cousin, he got it. He like 13. I'm like, you have a lavish life. You are privileged. You do not need no anxiety. So. And the reason being is because they absorb so much stuff. They care about everything. They're looking at the world dying. They're looking
Wars.
at world wars,
Mhm.
politics,
Mhm.
relationships. They're thinking about so much. They're overstimulated.
People's
so they
self-identity. and
Yeah,
all of that,
exactly.
yeah.
When you just need to be a kid, or you just need to read, or you just need to know yourself. You don't need to be worrying about that.
So, what advice did you give your younger self? And then we have to wrap it up.
Okay, cool. Because I've been having such a good
I
time. Well, some advice I would give to myself, I would just be like, be yourself, go with the flow, know that you're not perfect, because for a long time I put a lot of pressure on myself. I had a lot of high standards. I thought I was going to be a millionaire by this time. I was going to be Spike Lee, have 5 films. I don't know what I was thinking. And not that, that's unrealistic.
It's not bad, but it's
it's
still
not
like,
bad, but it's like, don't put that pressure on yourself. Go with the flow and know that you're going to always land where you need to be. When you shoot, you're not going to miss. Yeah.
I like that.
So yeah, that's the advice I would give myself. It's just to really go with the flow.
I wanna ask you this, since you've actually accomplished a few films, got them produced and everything. When you first picked up the camera, what was your perspective on this industry to now? Because I feel like that was the other thing for me when I started podcasting. I thought I was just talking, and I realized half this shit is marketing. Like, it doesn't even matter what I say up here. It really only matters what I say like after this is done and filmed and out or before, So what was it about you, about the industry that you learned?
As far as my perspective, well, okay, first I was green. I thought it was just this is just film
Just
and
shoot a
create.
movie.
You realize it's not the best people out here. A lot of people don't have your best interests. And you just have to be a good judge of character. You gotta know people, because although it's like we want to get into this industry for the art, we have to take into consideration people will people are leeches. And when I did my first film, actually,
honestly, we're gonna extend a little bit. We're gonna talk about this. No, for real, because this is real.
They're leeches, and so when I did my first film, I actually stopped filming or did anything pertaining to film for 2 years because I was I was so stressed out. I was so just exhausted from people that have absorbed my energy, my time that I put forth. So you have to realize, like, a lot of people are leeches. A lot of people, like, you have this light that you have, and people will take that. They see the light, and they're attracted to that, so they'll come towards it. So you just have to be a really good judge of character and love yourself enough to know, like, hey, I can't stand for something that doesn't serve me, and then just know how to step away and just not have any.
I talked about boundaries.
Boundaries, for sure.
I didn't have any boundaries.
Yeah, exactly.
And I did not realize how dangerous that was because I was like, I just want a podcast, right? So I said, this is what I want. This is what I'm gonna go get. And I started telling people I just want a podcast with no boundaries. Yeah. People will just throw stuff on you. I filmed a whole show for somebody else who promised me editing and all this other stuff that was like, oh, thank God, I finally found this person. They're going to support my dreams, blah, blah, blah. And they called me when I was done and handed in the footage and was like, oh, we can't help you for your stuff, but thanks for helping me with mine.
For real?
Yeah. So I had to film this whole show that I had guests on just like this. Yeah. And they were like, hey, when's my episode coming out? And I was like, I'm sorry, I got scammed. We have to talk about this. I need you to.
They shot your stuff.
Right. They shot it, but then they only put up their show. So I would shoot my show first, and then I would shoot their show with the same person. So it'd be like different topics. Theirs was like late night shows. So I would talk about, like, bedroom stuff, relationship things, that type of stuff. And then I would do my show about their business. So we get to know them professionally and then personally. I thought it was really cool. People really, really liked it. And then they were like, where's my personal stuff? I really want to talk about some of these relationship things. I got my people excited for it. Some people had like big followings, like, oh, this episode is going to come out. And then I got the call and they were like, yeah, we're not producing this. And I was like, cool.
Wow.
Cool. I have like 10 people to call.
Yeah. That's hard because
I have a lot of people to talk to.
It's like disappointing other people.
Exactly. So I mean, I can imagine as a filmmaker, like you have to always get people together to create something.
I was like, with the film, it was so monumental when it got picked up. Because I had so much drama with editing. Like, I had someone edit it and then they never finished it, or something was messed up. It was just always something. Like, it was the audio, but it was just a lot. So with that, you just have to be surrounded by people that see your vision. And there's a couple ways you can peep that, you can...
Okay, tell them, because for me, mine was boundaries.
Boundaries,
like, after that, I was like, look, I need a contract if you want to work with me. Yeah. And until we sign a contract, you're just talking.
Yeah, contract.
We're just talking. I was like, I need a contract. I was like, I'm not doing nobody's house. If you film at your house, I'm so sorry, I can't do it. Because I've had a lot of guys be like, hey, I want you to be on my podcast, and you get there and you're like,
and it's just,
I don't want to be on this podcast.
That's crazy.
So no, it's real. So then I was like, look, I had to set these boundaries, and I'm sorry if a good person is left out because I have these boundaries, but I need these boundaries.
Boundaries
so what
for
are
sure.
yours?
I mean, that's number one. Boundaries. Because they're not gonna play with you when you have those boundaries.
And I set a set price where I'm like, if you're gonna work for me and you want to support me, I need at least 10K. And a lot of times when you say that number, a lot of people back the fuck off. So I did that on purpose because I was like, I only want somebody actually serious. To be a part of this.
Just like surrounding yourself with people that feel the same way about your vision as you do. So they're just as invested as you are with your own project, and you know that by how much they're willing to assist you, how much they're willing to take over things that you can't take over. When you realize like, oh dang, this person is real serious as well, just like me, and that's when you know you have like that team and that foundation. It takes a long time. It's not like overnight you find that team, but once you do find that team, just like lock in with them, because you need a team to be successful. You can't do that on your own. Mm-hmm.
That's why we have bossies. Anybody doing it alone is not going to get very far. There's a quote where it's like, if your dream is small enough for one person, it's not big enough. Mm-hmm. And so I started thinking about that, where I was like, nah, if I really. So then so for me, I want the show to be, my dream is daytime TV. Kind of like a Oprah version of this, but like a little different, my version of it, but definitely a talk show. So then I started studying talk shows, and then I was like, how many people does it take to make a talk show happen? I realized it's 100 people. Any show that y'all see on TV is 100 people behind that. So then I was like,
it is.
It really is 100 people, from the producers, from the people picking the topics, from the people who put the editing background, the music, to the people getting the people booked, to the people putting people in your audience, getting people on your TV screen, everything from your YouTube to your website. It's 100 people, like minimum. So then I was like, well, shit, if you want a show, then you only got one person. That's not the show. We gotta work towards that.
People gonna tell. They're gonna be like, oh, this must be one person doing it, because this look terrible.
Oh, that's exactly what it looked like.
That's how it's gonna look. When you do it on your own, you could tell you did it on your own.
And that's why I be telling people. I would be like, some of us aren't as gifted as some of these one. My thing is, some of these influencers are really one-man bands. And they're beautiful.
They do that.
And they be making the rest of us feel bad that we need people.
You gotta know your strengths. I know my strengths, and I know, like, I need people. Or you need people to enhance your ideas, for sure. Because, you can be good, but you can be better with someone else.
Yeah, that's very true. So you were talking about you needed people that seems as interested in your project as you are.
Yeah, that's the number one thing.
How do you tell the difference between that and a leech? Because a leech will love your project, but it's because it's for them, not because it has anything to do with you. So how do you tell the difference between somebody who's passionate about this but not trying to leech at the same time? Because I think that's kind of a hard.
Well, I think experience. Now you can tell what you can tell a leech. You're like, oh yeah, you a leech. But for me, it's experience. You can tell who's authentic or not. You gotta give them not games, but just like task almost. Like, hey, let's see. Give them a task to do something on their own, like something small. They can't do it if they're like this or that. Then they're not for it. Or you can kind of see how people move. So it's like with the job. Like when you get a job, they want to see your background. They want to see your passport. They want to see your ID. It's the same with friends and business and working with people. You gotta have a whole step. Like, okay, cool, let's take it slow. And then once you figure that out, you're like, okay, cool, we locked in.
I don't know. I guess I call it Cancer intuition. But I can tell when people are just there for them, because everything is focused on them. Even their camera is focused on them. So if you ever see people who say that they support you, but the whole time the camera's faced this way and it's faced towards them, they're not there to support you. They're there to show people that they have something to do. It has nothing. You can tell. Nothing really to do with you. So then I have to start going, oh wow, okay. This is your moment off of my moment. I got
exactly. You can always tell. You can, and then you can just. We all make mistakes, but you just look back and you kind of see like, okay, this was the moment when the person wasn't really authentic. Because a lot of times, they'll act as if they're doing something for you, but it's always for themselves. Even if they're doing a nice task or something nice, it's so they can get something out of you. So you just have to peep that early on.
Super hard. Yeah, it's super hard. It's okay, guys. We all have moments.
You gotta learn.
I would start asking people what's up. Like, start asking other people that you know that you can trust. Hey, how do you feel about that person? Because they'll tell you first. I've noticed people closest to me will be like, I don't know about that one. Like,
Listen.
you seem really, really close with that
Yeah.
one. You're having a good time, but I don't know about that one. That's when I go, shit, okay.
Yeah, listen.
Let me pay attention.
Exactly. You gotta listen to your intuition for sure.
Okay. Last thing that I wanted to talk about is where can we find your film? When's it coming out?
Yes.
And then how can people tap into you? 'Cause you're a cool
Yeah.
person.
I
I know
appreciate
people want to watch like your other films. They want to tap into some of your poetry. Like,
Oh yeah.
how can we get to know you?
So yeah, you guys can follow me on Instagram. It is at I am Bree Kelly. That's IAMBREEKELLY. So Sunflower, we are in the pre-production stages right now. We aren't releasing the film anytime soon, but you guys can follow us along our journey if you follow our Instagram, which is a Sunflower Film. That's just a Sunflower Film. On Instagram, we're also on Facebook, but right now we're just in the crowdfunding phases. So if you guys want to contribute to the cause, you can always go on our Instagram, click on the Indiegogo link, and just go on our Instagram and just follow us. We have a lot of BTS. Get some information on the actors. We have an amazing cast. I love my cast, my crew. So yeah, just follow us on Instagram so you can be along this whole journey. And then follow me on Instagram and we'll have like more updates.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right, guys. This is our episode with Bree Kelly. Oh, Black History Month. We got a real black writer in here.
It's Black History Month, y'all. How are y'all being black?
Right. Oh, I like that. I like that. I'm being black very loudly by wearing a lot of pink with my brown skin.
Exactly. Yes, indeedy. Thank you so much.
Of course,
I appreciate
thanks
it.
for coming. So this has been another episode of Entrepreneurish. We will see you guys next week, each and every Thursday at Live Hip Hop Daily with the crew Creative Visions. Woo!
Hey.
And we'll see you guys next time.